Here we go, guys. Good evening, YouTube. Welcome back. Long time no see. I'm not ready for this, Sam. I'm not. It's too early. It was a shock.
June?
It was a shock. How did you find out the game was released? Were you on the Slack? The Slack was going crazy.
Tell you what happened.
Insta was going crazy.
Was doing a few messages on Instagram about the price updates, the reveals.
Oh, you were actually on your FPL Instagram?
And then all of a sudden, my phone went and it was the Slack going bonkers.
The guys in the Slack went absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. And then you texted me straight away, FPL is live, and I was on a conference call at work. And I did not pay any attention to the rest of that conference call for the following 40 minutes. And everyone was on Twitter about, can I get a really low team ID? I've missed out on all that, guys. I've missed out on all that because it was launched right in the middle of a work day. So what are you going to do? I basically cancelled all my plans for lunch and I went and had lunch on my own in Pret-a-Manger in Moorgate where I work and just had a look at the player prices and stuff. Billy no mates.
I mean, I was supposed to be marking some A-level answers today, but
it all goes out the window.
It all went a bit to pot.
Completely out the window, guys.
Especially when
back.
I was going, shall we live stream?
yeah. Well, that was pressure from the Slackers. The Slackers said, you've got to do a live stream. So, guys, welcome back. I've said long time no see. It feels like the season's just ended, and yet here we are again. The game is live, guys. The game is live. I don't know if you saw, but they were teasing us yesterday with a few player prices. And I thought, okay, so they're just going to drip feed us some player prices over the next few days, maybe a couple of weeks worth of it, one or two a day, and then it'll launch. Because it normally launches sort of start of July, maybe mid-July.
It's normally a month before. So I was expecting on or around the 9th of July.
Ish. This is when it normally launches. So they're teasing us with these prices, and all of a sudden, bang, we've got all the prices. And for those of you that follow us on Twitter, at FPLFamily, by the way, if you're not on Twitter, and I've got to introduce ourselves. There'll be people that are tuning in for the first time. We need to do all that in a minute. But for people that follow us on Twitter, you'll know that I've been doing like a daily FPL price prediction.
And he's been working really hard on these.
I've worked really hard. I've got all my tweets set in draft, and I'm ready to go every single day. I've got up to about 20 days worth. Gone. Completely gone.
You should do a little thing now as to how right were you?
That's immaterial now. Who cares?
I care if you've got it right or not.
Oh, thank you, Dan. That's very kind of you. But I had about 20 days worth of price predictions left in my Twitter drafts. Completely gone because...
It's probably all the right ones that you've not done as well.
Just absolutely immaterial. Guys, good evening. I'm Lee. This is Sam. Together we are FPL Family. Welcome back. I can already see a whole host of you new guys in the live chat. And all of you got actually some old faces that welcome back. Thank you for joining us again. We are full of new technology. You might have noticed our new video animation at the beginning of the live stream. I really wasn't sure how that was going to work, but I think it has, guys.
The computer's basically blown up just before we were going to start.
Well, yes. Hopefully.
We're on a different computer and everything now.
We're on a Mac. We've got some new stuff going on. We've got that new video. So, guys, hopefully that new video came across okay. Let me know in the live chat that the sound and the audio all came okay. I hope it did. The guys are saying in the live chat, Sam, 1-0 England women.
Yes, come on, the Lionesses.
1-0 to the Lionesses.
Come on.
Yes, absolutely awesome. Loving that.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Absolutely loving that. And I noticed, just as we were coming on, the guys are saying you're clashing with the women's football.
Yeah,
bad timing. Sorry, guys, I must admit, I didn't even consider. So buzzing about FPL being back. I forgot about the Lionesses.
The thing is, we can't go before the Lionesses because we can't get the kids to bed early enough, and we can't go after the Lionesses because it's too late.
It is what it is, as they say on your favourite programme. It is what it is. If you're a Love Island fan, you will know absolutely what we're talking about.
Hope Tips is in. He's a Love Island fan.
You and Tips love a bit of Love Island, don't you?
Got Josh into it as well now, haven't I?
Josh is a bit of a Love Islander as well, is he? Goodness me.
Now.
Goodness me. All right, well, let's say hello to a few people.
You know what I'm like? I get everyone involved.
Yeah.
You love it too.
I don't love it. I absolutely hate it.
No, you don't.
Secretly, I love it. Josh is in.
There
Josh, good afternoon. How you doing? Good evening. Kun Karam is here. Karam, how are you doing? Good evening. Good evening. Joe Finley Badder is in and moderating again. Hello from Egypt.
I bet Joe Finley Badder watches Love Island.
Well, not if he's in Egypt. He's on his holidays, presumably. He's not interrupting his holiday to watch Love Island.
I didn't know that he was in Egypt. I saw that on his Insta stories.
Oh, there you go. Well, there you go. Joe Finley Badder, welcome back. Thoughts on the season ahead for Watford? Thoughts on Deulofeu? 6.5. A striker now, Deulofeu. I think one of the positional changes I think we're expecting. I think we're expecting to see that out of Deulofeu. But does that make him more or less of an option?
We're about to find out.
Less, if you ask me, but we will talk about that.
I think I'll put him in my first draw.
What? Good Lord. Right, here we go. The bonkers list has started. Bench FPL is here. Good evening. How you doing? Good to be back, he says. Yeah, absolutely great to be back. Liam Riss, Love Island, with just a load of being sick emojis after that, which I think sums up the general feeling.
Now, come on. You can't say that unless you've watched a few episodes. Give it a go. Your life will change for the better.
Joey's saying, Sam, that he does in fact watch Love Island. In fact, he's gone so far as to get a VPN so that he can watch Love Island while he's out in Egypt. That is commitment from the Watford faithful there. El Stato is here. Good evening, El Stato. How are you doing? Eric Lord is in. Good evening. Liam Healy is here. Football Kid is here. How are you doing? Anton Persson is here. How are you doing? Good evening. Nelson, let me see. Nelson Labor is here. Nelson, good evening. Welcome. FPL Booner, hashtag FPL Booner. He says, Sam, Love Island is the one. It is the one.
You see, it is just the best. And there's going to be a dumping tonight.
Right, we're not here to talk about. We're not here to talk about Love Island.
I'm almost as excited about the dumping as I was about the game going live.
Don't you dare start with that. That is absolutely savage.
Maybe I should do my own live streams about Love Island as well.
No, forget that. Forget that. Keith Edwards is here. Hello. He says, how are you doing, Keith? Neil Soper is here. Ben Clark, Crackerjack. All sorts of you guys tuning in. Crackerjack, indeed, is here for the first time. He says, first time in, already loving it. So, Crackerjack, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit the little notify bell as well. We will be live every single Sunday, 8 p.m, reviewing all of the weekend's FPL action. So, this is our first... Is it our... we've done the fixtures reveal, which is a video. Little vid, but this is our first proper live stream for this season, and we've already had a super chat from Another Hoops. Welcome back, a live stream regular from last season. So Another Hoops, thank you for coming back. He has super chatted, Sam, £38.
What?
Which is an incredible super chat to kick off the evening. So thank you very much for that. One for every game week of the season, he says. One for every game week. Another Hoops. That is very, very kind of you, mate. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. He says, welcome back, FPL family and chat. Let's start this right. £1 per game week to kick off the new season. And then just some night fever emojis. Bit of night fever. Absolutely awesome. Another Hoops. Thank you very much for joining us.
I'm in a really good mood tonight for a change.
Because FPL's back.
It's because FPL's back. Nobody's ruined my game week. So, do you know what I mean?
You haven't got your captain wrong. It's fine.
Haven't got my captain wrong. Haven't got Edison in goal. Like, everything's perfect. Won't be like this game week one.
Give it time. Give it time.
give it game week one.
So tell me then, Sam, how are you? So have you done a draft? Yes. You have done a draft. So you have got a 15.
Basically, I just got
You got excited and stuck some players down. Go on then.
I'm sitting there at my computer marking. Slack. Phone's going off the table. It's vibrated so much, and I thought. I actually did say to the slackers, I was like, guys, I'm off. I've got a mark. I'm off. I'll be back later. And then they continued, and I was like, never mind. I'm going to do an FPL draft. So I just pulled up my team, and I did basically what I normally do is I got like some key players in. Okay.
Did you just do auto pick, or you did actually pick some picks?
I'll have you guys, and then let's just fill with other stuff that adds up to 100.
Okay.
So I've got a bit of a team and a load of nonsense, but then that allowed me to name my team and all of that stuff, because for me, like, it's a big deal. I change my name every year, don't I?
Yes you do. And what's your team name this year? If it's a Love Island reference, I'm going to go mental. Is it a Love Island? No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Okay, what is the name?
No Kane, no gain.
No Kane, no gain. Absolutely, I like that, by the way. That's really good. A hot topic. Harry Kane, 11 million.
No gain.
Let me guess. In your first draft, Harry Kane.
First pick.
Harry Kane. First pick. 11 million, guys.
Bargain.
I mean, when was the last time Kane was anywhere near the 11 million mark? That is a
bargain of the century.
That is a bargain. In a season where, and we'll, lots and lots to discuss, of course, over the next 40 minutes or so. But the cheap striker, I think, is going to be popular this year because I think a lot of people will be piling money into defence. So we're all looking out there for cheap strikers. So official FPL have had an absolute blinder there because they've said, while you're all looking at cheap strikers, don't forget this guy, Harry Kane, best striker in the game, 11 mil. How about that?
And not to forget, Aubameyang, Golden Boot, 11 mil.
Yes, absolutely. So I think they've realised that a lot of us are going to be pushing money towards the back of our teams in defence with Trent and Robbo and Laporte and Digne, all of which we'll talk about a bit later on in this episode. But they're really enticing us with these premium forwards.
Well, I think what it's done is, and forgive me, I should check. I can't remember who said it. You might remember, but one of the guys on the Slack was saying earlier, and he's totally right. What they've done is they've opened up the game, so it means that rather than us all going for, there are certain players that we're all going to have, but by pricing players like Kane, like Aubameyang, that are a little bit cheaper, it means that you kind
options,
of go,
right?
oh,
Yeah,
I might go
options.
there. Oh, I might go there. And it means that in the opening few game weeks, we should get a bit more diversity across the teams.
Okay.
Which will be quite nice, actually. It'll be quite novel.
All right, well, let's dive into it. So that's our Twitter feed on the left-hand side. If you're not following us on Twitter yet, please go ahead and do that. We'd love you to follow us over there. Just cracked the 13.1k, so we've got a few more followers over the summer, which is absolutely wonderful. We're also at FPL Family on Instagram, which is where you can find Sam over on Insta.
Maybe for some Love Island chat.
Pure FPL chat on Insta. No Love Island chat on Insta. One of the things we'll be doing, guys, over the course of the season, wherever we can, we'll be, because there's children and stuff which we have to think about, but whenever we can, we'll be doing Instagram hot takes.
There are children.
This season.
Not other people's children.
No, our children. Yes, our children will be running around. So they may or may not feature on some of these videos.
Goodness.
But, so then it becomes a real FPL family. But we'll be doing Instagram hot takes. So you will be doing Insta Live, literally, as the whistle blows, we will be doing FPL Family Insta hot takes. Where
on the live games.
On the live games, yes. If they're in the evening, perfect. Children are in bed, so it's fine. But on the sort of Saturday lunchtime and the Sunday afternoon games, what we're going to try and do, wherever we can, if the situation means that we can, I will pick up your phone. We will do an Insta Live.
What, with me?
You'll be doing the Insta Live.
What, all of them? What about some of you?
I might be doing some. You might be doing some. We might do some together in selfie mode. Who knows? But
we
it'll
might
be
get Max to do one.
30 to 60 seconds. Hot take. FPL. Insta reaction. I'm going to call it. I just made that up. FPL Family Insta reaction.
I love that.
There we go. At FPL Family
You're
over on
not just
Instagram.
a pretty face, are you?
I do put a little bit of thought and time into FPL Family. A little bit of thought and time.
Don't call them hot takes. That's rubbish. Insta reaction. That's brilliant.
Insta reaction. There you go.
That's what they're called.
Get
Family.
Insta about
Insta
that.
reactions.
There we go. Job done.
All right, I'll Insta about it.
Let's dive into the game, guys. As you can see, I have not made a draft.
I've got a new book and everything for this season.
You've got your new book.
Yeah.
We've got the new game. We've got new player prices. I have not done anything yet. I've literally only logged in to see if I could still log in, which I can.
Are you going to do it now?
Haven't set my team, haven't done anything. So I thought what I'd do is this. And because I've had a reasonably busy day at work, I have seen the headlines, right? So I've seen Kane, I've seen Salah as well, gone down half a point. Basically all the ones that were being regularly tweeted about by the FPL community. I've seen a bit of that. But a lot of these prices I just haven't seen. So I'm expecting a lot of defenders to go up in price. I'm expecting, some of the premium forwards like Kane to have got a bit more of a decrease. You've already told me about Aubameyang, but like Lacazette, I haven't got a clue, right? I don't know.
And that for me, Lacazette was a really interesting one because obviously they've kept Uber at 11, and Lacazette's back in at 9.5.
Well, there we go.
So
to be discussed.
Really interesting.
Yeah, to be discussed.
That means that you're opening the floodgates for diversity between even the Arsenal players.
Well, there you go.
Expect them to be a bit closer together.
Very excited to see the videos again. Amazing content. Who's that from? We've got to scroll up a little bit. Let's see. That is from Toxic Fusion. Welcome back to FPL Family this season. Welcome back. Thank you for coming back.
A nice super chat there. Super.
All the regulars are in, Sam. Absolutely, and of course Crackerjack and some new faces. So very good to see you all.
The family's growing.
We've got to get into these prices, Sam. We've got to get into these prices as usual, as you've come to expect from FPL Family. A load of waffle and nonsense before we actually get round to the business end of the live stream, which is talking about players. I've unashamedly started at Liverpool because, of course, that is where my attention has gone. Tell me, Sam, you've looked at these, you've done a first draft.
Yes.
I can already see right there on my screen that Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robbo both coming in at 7.
Yeah.
Who's catching your eye then from this Liverpool team?
Well, actually, interestingly, it was Van Dijk who immediately caught my eye. Saving me 0.5 was a really unexpected bonus from the game. I was anticipating all three of those would come in at the same price because, generally speaking, that's what the game does. You look at the back lines and usually they put those kind of key players from a team in at the same price to make it so that it's more difficult.
But Robbo and Trent, clearly a step ahead of Van Dijk. I know you get a bit of goal threat from Van Dijk as well, but the assist and creativity you get from the other two is worth that 0.5, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. Well, yes, it is, yes. But I also think that, when I was looking at my team earlier, the ideal team I wanted, I was 3.5 million shy, which actually isn't that bad in comparison to where I have been in previous seasons, where I felt like I needed another 50 million. And I was kind of thinking, well, can I get that back anywhere? And I was looking at those Liverpool defenders and thinking, well, do you know what? Van Dijk is not a bad option. If it's
look at those others, right? So somebody has got to partner Van Dijk at the back there, be it Matip or Lovren or Gomez. Whoever it is, well, there's talk of Lovren going, right? But of those three, assuming Liverpool don't sign anybody else, whoever it is that partners Van Dijk at 5.5, a full million cheaper than Van Dijk.
Yeah,
okay, you might not get as much goal threat with those three, but you'd have to have a look, wouldn't you?
You would, but I think what we learnt very clearly from last season is that those, particularly Robertson and Trent, and then closely followed by Van Dijk, they are the key Liverpool assets to own because they scored so many goals, were involved in so many goals in terms of assists last season that it's not enough to just cover the Liverpool clean sheet, which is why I think Alisson is no go as a keeper option this season.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, I personally think, as you know, being as a Liverpool fan, as you guys can see, and you regulars will absolutely know. I fancy Gomez, given that he and Van Dijk started to build a really nice partnership at the beginning of last season, until he got injured, of course, Gomez, a bit unlucky. Out of those three, if I was going to take a punt, which I'm not, on a Liverpool defender in the beginning of the season, I'm going to be absolutely solid and go...
Robbo?
Trent, I think.
Trent?
Possibly Robbo as well.
Where are you getting this money from?
I don't know. We'll find out in a minute when I build a draft of 10 players, and that's
Good
it.
luck.
Yeah,
if we can have 2 7 million defenders.
I know, but out of those, I mean, Trent is nailed on for me. I absolutely put Trent in my team, no issue at all. He goes straight in.
This is exciting. We're like live FPLing.
I mean, well, Trent is what Trent is. I mean, look, if he played the full season, you know, we're talking about Robertson smashing FPL records at the back end of last season. If Trent had played every minute if he'd played as many minutes as Robbo last year, he would have smashed that record. He would be more than 213 points.
Yeah.
So
you're probably right.
Trent is absolutely in.
Interesting though, because I went Robbo.
Well, yes, and absolutely, and I could still go both. I want to look at some other players and some other prices, but of the two, I think those are the two to go for, and then have a look at Matip, Lovren and Gomez as to who cements that spot next to Van Dijk. Yeah. Let's have a look at the midfielders then. Mo Salah looking really, really good there at 12.5. 0.5 decrease on his starting price from last season. Crucially, from my perspective, not reclassified as a forward, still a midfielder.
Yeah.
Do you think, and I guess this is a key question, do you think that he is worth the million more than Mane, given that they both scored the same amount of goals last season?
This was a real difficulty for me. So when I first...
Do you think? Yeah. I think it's easy.
So when I first did my team, I put Salah in. And then when I couldn't get the numbers to work, I swapped Salah for Mane.
You needed that million.
I was just like, I can't get my numbers to work and I need to save a team in order to do my name and everything else so that I was ready for today, for tonight. So I was a bit like, well, I'm going to go Mane. And then I was quite uncomfortable with that for quite a lot of the day today. But actually now, I don't feel quite so uncomfortable with it at the moment. I feel like I would rather have Salah, but as we learnt last season... Mane scores just as many goals as Salah does. So,
So I think it is an absolute no-brainer, guys. I think it is Salah all the way. I think but last season there was a couple of million, maybe even 2.5 between the two. And that forced us into making the decision between whether you wanted to pay a significant premium for Salah, given that he is far more creative in terms of assists than Mane. We saw that last season. Mane, only a handful of assists. You guys will know the exact numbers. 2 or 3 maybe even from Mane. Whereas with Salah, you're getting far more assists. And with this season, with Milner likely to play far less minutes, given that he's in his mid-30s now, Salah, I would expect, is going to step up to take the penalties as well, which, of course, we're expecting to see more of, given VAR coming in. That remains to be seen whether that's the case. But now that we've only got a million more to find between Salah and Mane, I think it's the Egyptian all the way. Absolutely Egyptian all the way.
Good luck with that million.
Yeah, I know. We've got to find it somewhere, haven't we? But I'm going to put him in my team. I think Salah...
Particularly as I'm pretty sure you're about to add Sterling to your team, which will make life even more difficult.
I'm pretty sure that is going to happen. But Trent and Mo go in for me. A quick word on the other midfielders and any other options, including Firmino. What's your thoughts on him at 9.5? I think that's what he was last season.
Yes, same.
A favourite of yours, Firmino, right?
Yes. My issue with Firmino was that... And it's not really any of his fault, to be honest. I blame Robbo and I blame Salah for it. But I'm looking at my team and I'm thinking I've got to spend 7 million here. I've got to spend 12.5 million here. Can I really spend another 9.5 million on the same team.
Yeah, I know.
It felt a bit, and I think I said it quite a few times last season, I don't really like having 3 of a team, because if they don't do well, I mean, it's a little bit different with the likes of Liverpool and City, because they're going to do well.
Yeah.
But it felt a little bit difficult. So I had Firmino in for a little while, and then I took him out because I was a bit like, I need some more extra money. But I do think Firmino is a good option, yes, certainly.
So what's your strategy for Liverpool? You're going to start the season with 2 or go all out on 3? And on the basis that with 2, it gives you the flexibility to bring in whichever Liverpool asset starts to return, or you're just going to go all out and have 3 from the beginning?
I don't know is the answer. I haven't yet decided. My gut says just have... My gut says the fixtures are lovely, go 3. But my brain says... you should be sensible, you should go 2 and then see who's performing and then get them in. Okay. My other concern with Liverpool is rotation around the African...
the African Cup of Nations. Yeah.
I
Mane and Salah
called.
Both at that, right? Yeah.
And if they both stay in it till the end, what does that mean in terms of them coming straight back into the Liverpool team when they return? So there's all of that that's kind of playing out. So I'm watching what's going on with the African Cup of Nations as well, just to see where I think Klopp's head might be with Salah and Mane.
Got to remember Liverpool playing Chelsea in the Super Cup, the European Super Cup as well. Sorry about the new book. Between game weeks 1 and 2, so we have to factor that in as well. Yeah. I think despite all of that, that's not going to put me off having 3 Liverpool players. Certainly the defenders that have not got African Cup of Nations to worry about, right? So they will come in for me for sure. Trent, absolutely. Probably Robbo as well. For now, I'm going Trent and Salah, and I'm going to have a look at some other prices. Talk me through Manchester City. Let's go to Man City. Let's see what you guys are saying first before we do that. Let's see. Here we go. There's a nice comment from Neil a second ago. Let's find that.
I can't get comfy tonight. I'm all on the feet.
I know, you're a bit fidgety. I noticed that. Neil Craston. Neil, good evening. Welcome back. Hope you're well. Salah all the way. He says if Mane was 10... then we'd have a decision to make. But Salah all the way, given that Mane is at 11.5.
After his season last season, he couldn't be 10.
I know. Peter Gray, Mane has done it once, 20 plus goals, but no assists, not on pens, not on corners. So I think Peter agrees with us that Salah is worth that extra million. Gabriella Zach, I'm happy Salah's price dropped so I can buy him. Yeah, I think he's going to be very, very popular.
I think this is the other thing, isn't it? Is that everyone's going to be on him.
And he's probably going to be game week 1 captain for a lot of players, for a lot of people, isn't he?
Well,
you'd think so.
Well,
I know what you're going to say now. We're going to come to him a bit later on. John Barrow, thank you for joining. He's saying the league code isn't working, Lee. You're absolutely right, John. That is because I haven't even picked my team and I haven't even activated any of the leagues that I'm the administrator for. So once we've done this and I've got your help in putting my team together, guys, I will, of course, be going through and setting the leagues up and all that sort of stuff. So follow us at FPLFamily on Twitter. And I'll make sure the league code gets out on Twitter, John. So thank you for pointing that out.
How many leagues are we having this year, by the way? We haven't even discussed that yet. We haven't even got to this stage.
That's what I mean. I feel so unprepared for this season.
Literally.
Official FPL has just dropped the game on us, and I haven't decided whether... I was thinking about doing potentially a head-to-head league, if that is still a thing. I guess it is.
It is a thing, yeah.
With some of the live stream regulars. Guys, get in the live chat and let me know if you would like a head-to-head league for the live stream regulars, because that'd be quite cool, because we could have Finley Badder against Neil Craston, or we could have... me against Leo.
It'd be me against you at some point then, wouldn't it?
Could be me against you at some point, which would be quite cool. Yeah,
we'll obviously be keeping the Manager of the Month league for our patrons, and then we just need to discuss what the other leagues are going to look like. We'll do that, and then we'll get it out there tonight.
All the Patreon stuff will, of course, be cracking on and going ahead. I haven't figured out quite yet how we're going to do the Ohanas and stuff, but it'll be largely the same as last year with a bit of additional extras, but... the game has come too early. I thought I had several weeks to put thought into this, but rest assured, patrons, there will be some more good stuff coming later on this summer. So let's have a look at Manchester City. We said we'd go there next, so let's check these guys out. I really haven't had a look at these. Let's have a look. What do you think? Laporte 6.5, Mendy 6. What do you think about Mendy at 6?
No.
Why not?
Because Laporte at 6.5 is a much better option. For an extra 0.5. Laporte.
Okay, all right.
I think because for me the thing is that if Mendy then does fire, and if he does consistently play, you just go Laporte down to Mendy and it's easy. But if Mendy doesn't start the season, doesn't play, doesn't fire, You never know with Pep, do you? He didn't play a lot last season. All right, I know he was injured for a large percentage of the season, but for me, the safer option going into the game week 1 is to go with Laporte, who was amazing last season.
De Bruyne, 9.5. Sorry to cut you off.
You asked me a question. You didn't listen to my answer.
I was listening, dear. I absolutely was listening.
I mean, it's typical of our marriage, really, isn't it?
I've got to cut you off again, or just for a second, because we've had another super chat. Thank you very much to James O'Marney for sending €10. Thank you, James. It's not a name I recognise from last season's regular. So, James, if you're new around here, thank you very much for joining us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button before you leave us this evening.
Thank you for super chatting.
He super chatted with his team, actually. Ooh. His team. Fabianski, Van Dijk, Wan-Bissaka, Adam Smith, Sigurdsson, Sterling, Miljovic, Bernardo Silva, Moutinho, Aguero, Wilson. Bench, Button, Duffy, Greenwood. What's your opinion on his team, Sam and Lee? Well, listen, James, I still need to explore all of these prices and understand who's at what price. But
there's a couple in there that I really like.
There's a couple in there that are favourite picks from last season that I think are also going to be good this season. We are definitely going to be talking about Sterling, of course, but Sigurdsson as well, James.
Would worry me.
Quite keen to talk about him.
Button,
Fabianski and Button. I haven't got a clue even what the prices look like.
We'll go to goalkeepers in a bit, and we can talk about this a little bit more, James. But the goalkeepers are really badly priced in terms of having an expensive and a cheap. There is not a cheap.
And he's gone Wilson. What price is Wilson?
8.
8 for Wilson.
Josh King is a whole 1.5 million cheaper.
Josh King is 6.5 and Wilson is 8.
Yeah.
Blimey, okay.
Yeah.
Josh King on pens, right?
Yeah.
Blimey, all right. Well, listen, there you go, James. That would be, I think, certainly Sam's opinion by the look on her face, is that Josh King over Wilson is worth the 1.5.
I'd use that money to go Button to Ryan, who's only 0.5 million more, but you're guaranteed he's going to play, and it gives you swapping keepers.
Well, there we go. All right. Well, let's keep looking at the Man City players to start with. I think we're going Bournemouth next. I think that's why I'm quite intrigued by that.
Well, the Bournemouth prices are funny.
De Bruyne 9.5. I like the look of that. Foden is an interesting one because I don't think he's one that I'll be thinking of getting in game week 1, but I think this is his breakthrough season, Foden. I think given that David Silva has come out and said, this is his last season, probably.
Swan song.
This is swan song. It's his last season at the club.
No, definitely, you said, didn't he?
Has he said that? Definitely.
Yeah, so 10 years, it's a round number he wants to go.
Okay, so David Silva's last season in the club, there is no doubt that the heir to David Silva's throne is Phil Foden. There's no doubt about it. The fact that he hasn't gone out on loan yet suggests that Pep wants him in and around that team. He wants David Silva to mentor him. Yeah. He sees him as his successor. So I think this is a breakthrough season for Foden.
Yeah.
Is he an FPL asset? Probably not, because we can't guarantee game time, etc. But if Silva got injured, if David Silva got injured first few game weeks, Phil Foden would be in like a shot, and Pep would, I think, trust him in that slot and just accelerate his starts in the first team. But anyway, for now, Foden 5.51 to watch. Aguero at 12. I'm assuming he's the most expensive forward in the game then at that price.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, he is, and on his own as well. Whole million above than Kane and Aubameyang, who are the closest to him. Yeah, and for me, it's that same old dilemma that we had last season. If you want to go Aguero and you want to have Salah, which I think for most people they will, plus everyone's going to want a Liverpool defender, so you're looking at 7 or 6.5 if you go Van Dijk, it is getting tight already.
Well, one thing I did also notice is that Jesus has been given the number 9 shirt at City. If you see that, yes, I don't know what his number was before, 22, 23, I'm not sure. But he's now number 9. Now, for me, and I put that on Twitter, and people are saying, it doesn't really mean anything. I think it does. I think genuinely that's a bit of a statement of intent there from the club to give him an iconic number.
I also think that actually there's a statement from the game itself at keeping him at 9.5, because for me, Jesus is the way he was last season at 9.5. Nobody's going to own Jesus at 9.5 unless there's something in it that says that Pep is going to play him a bit more. I think for me, that number change will mean that there is more game time for Jesus. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean less game time for Aguero, because last season he did like to play them together.
It did, yeah. There was a system that they both fit in. Yeah,
it doesn't necessarily mean that we shouldn't be going Aguero. I think if you can afford to go Aguero, then I absolutely merit in doing that.
But I would be looking at these prices and saying, well, 12 for Aguero or the exact same money for Sterling.
Yes.
Who is surely, you can see there in the price difference, 33 point difference in FPL last season for them. Sterling, I know it's Pep, and I know about rotation, but Sterling is pretty nailed on, isn't he?
Sterling
in that
didn't
team?
really get rotated.
Pretty nailed
not
on.
Really, only a couple of games here or there.
And there's so many routes to points with Sterling, right? Goals, assists, bonus points,
and
all
obviously
sorts.
the midfielder position means that you're getting an extra point per goal.
Yeah,
you're getting an extra point for a clean sheet as long as Edison doesn't throw it in his own net.
As Mark O'Leary is saying, though, Aguero on pens. That's the only thing. If we think VAR is going to explode as we think it might, at least in the short term at the beginning of the season, I think Mark is right to point out that you get pens with Aguero.
But then you could have Kane for $1 million less and be on pens with him.
All right, okay. Well, let's look at him next. For me, straight choice between Sterling and Aguero right now.
Well, before we leave City, yes, I think it is a straight choice between Sterling and Aguero, but I also think that there are honourable mentions for KDB's price, even Bilver in at 8 and David Silva in at 7.5. Those three also offer some good prices. I think Sané is out the game at 9.5. I don't think anyone's going to own Sané at 9.5.
Yeah.
I don't really know why they've priced him there.
Rumours of a move to Germany as well, isn't there?
It's a really weird price point to have put Sané in at for me. But the other three, the two Silvers and KDB for me is really hard to overlook at 9.5.
I tell you what, 9.5. I've put Sterling in my team there, but I tell you what, just because I can already see my team getting really expensive, I picked two most expensive midfielders and Trent.
And then swapped him for KDB when I realised that my team was going into the 200 million bracket.
Given that I will 100% not have a budget that's 120 million, I'm going to go De Bruyne, I think, from City. And I think I'm going to go Laporte. Have you gone Laporte in your draft?
Yeah, I mean, so far you've basically got the same team as me.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I think Laporte is looking good. A keen eye on pre-season, though, for Ben Mendy.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a favourite of mine, actually, in the first few game weeks of last season. He was getting assist after assist.
Hard to go up there, easy to come down.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, I agree, but I just think the potential upside for Mendy is so far higher than Laporte. Laporte will get you 6 after 6 after 6, clean sheet after clean sheet. But if that's all you're looking for, then why don't you go for Edison at 6?
Excuse me, he gets assists.
Bonus points. What, like the assist he got for Company's goal against Leicester?
Just thought I'd remind you of that.
Don't even go there.
He gets plenty of assists. He was really good for me at the end of last season, and I got him in at that end of last season in my wildcard team. That for me, that was like. It was wonderful.
All right. Well, for now, it's Laporte. I'm picking just really expensive players now. But these are the two teams. These are the two teams that you're going to pick your expensive players from, right? If you're going to go big, you go big on these two teams.
Well, absolutely. Before we go on to other teams, could we just have following on from James's super chat? Can we just have a look at goalkeepers? Because I think that would be worth doing.
Would you want to do? What, about Edison in particular, or just goalkeepers?
Just goalkeepers generally.
I don't want to spend too much time on goalkeepers. I've got so many midfielders to talk about.
Yes, I know, but I think it's worth looking at the goalkeepers because I actually think that that's the hardest position to pick from this year because of the way they've priced them. So if you go into statistics and then get the goalkeepers up rather than having it up down the window,
right,
or view it.
Can we not go team by team?
View it. Can you just look at the goalkeepers?
Do we have to?
Yeah.
So boring.
No, but it's not, because actually this makes it's really difficult, because if you look at the goalkeeper...
I want to get to Callum Wilson, 8 million.
We'll go to Bournemouth next. But let's just, for a second, humour me and let's just talk about goalkeepers, because this is the position that I found the most difficult, because my immediate point was, as you know with me, stop it. I like to do...
Mark O'Leary says, do what you're told, Lee.
Yeah, quite. I don't know what he's got.
FPL Tips is in. FPL Tips. Yay! Harry, good evening. How are you doing, mate? Welcome back.
Hopefully he's got his girlfriend watching with him now, because she needed some FPL tips as well.
Is that right? Is that right?
I believe that...
Come on, let's get through the goalkeepers. I've had enough of goalkeepers already. Come on.
I think it's important that we talk about goalkeepers because James was in his team was talking about Fabianski. Now this season, what we've seen is that all the goalkeepers have got up in price pretty much. So we've suddenly got the keepers that were in the cheap end last season, Fabianski, Foster, where you could have the rotating keepers. They're up at 5 now. So to spend 10 million on those
Fabianski
keepers,
5.
Yeah, Foster 5, Leno 5, Patricio 5, Schmeichel 5. Kepa 5.5, Luis 5.5, Pickford 5.5, De Gea's 5.5. All of a sudden, we've got a very, very few players, few keepers that are actually options in the 4.5 category because there's only really Begovic, there's Eastwood from Sheffield and Krul from Norwich, and then there's Ryan, and that's about it in terms of playing keepers that we can have in that 5.5 bracket. At 4, there's nobody really. So it means that in terms of picking your team, you need to be really careful with what you're doing with defenders because my fear
Heaton
is...
at 4.5 for Burnley. Looks all right.
Heaton, the two Burnley keepers are the same. So you could get double Burnley.
Heaton's first choice, right?
Yeah, but the options, so the things that I was looking at are, you could because I was thinking, well, I'm going to go Lloris probably. So that probably leaves me with, now that Vorm's left, Gasinga as my second keeper. So I'm covered myself. I've always got a keeper, and he's in at 5.5.
The game's just launched today, Sam, and we're doing our first ever live stream, and we're talking about Vorm and Gasinga.
No,
Can we move on from goalkeepers?
I just wanted to say.
Right, 10 seconds left on goalkeepers, then I'm moving on.
Genuinely, stop it. I think it's really important because actually, if you want to go for rotating keepers, it's not quite so bad because you just go for 2 5s and it's okay, or a 5 and a 4.5. But if you want to go for a set and forget goalkeeper, it's harder because actually you need an understudy that's going to play, and basically that means you've got to spend 4.5 rather than the 4 that we had last season.
Awesome.
That's the point.
I'm having Heaton just because he looks good at 4.5, and Gunn just because.
Who?
Just because why not?
Why?
Southampton goalkeeper Gunn, he's first choice, isn't he? Or is it McCarthy? Who knows? Anyway, Matty Ryan 4.5. I didn't spot that.
Because I said that.
Did you? I wasn't really listening, I'll be honest. We'll go for
What's wrong with you?
Matty Ryan. I'm just excited that the game is launched and I want to move on from goalkeepers. I want to go Bournemouth then. Since
Watch that Champions League final end in divorce now.
Hey, if you want to bring that up, I'm more than happy to start talking about the Champions League final. That's really no problem. Really no problem.
I don't like you.
What price Origi? So let's look at Bournemouth then.
Origi?
I was just saying, you want to bring the Champions League up. So Callum Wilson, 8 million, and Josh King, 6.5. That is an interesting one for me. I know that I can see the points difference from last year, but...
Yeah, but injuries were a part of that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how Callum Wilson is worth $1.5 million more than King. Guys, you tell me if you think any different, but for me, I'm saying Josh King out of them two. What are you thinking?
Yeah, well, because I think part of the reason they've done it is because most people, when they look at the game for the first time, and they'll go Bournemouth, let's look at Fraser, let's look at Wilson.
Bournemouth's fixtures are alright as well, aren't they?
Yeah, they're alright. And that means that if you're going to look at, those are your obvious picks, whereas I think if you get underneath it a little bit with Bournemouth, and you start to look at people like Josh King, you then suddenly find that actually you can make an affordable team with the Bournemouth players that's not going to cost you quite as much. I think Wilson, he kind of had to be 8 because Fraser had to be 7.5.
Yeah.
So you have to keep Wilson above him. It didn't surprise me.
Just notice, sorry to cut across it again for the millionth time. Just notice, David Brooks, 6.5.
Yeah.
It's a bit disappointing, isn't it? No, it is. So, genuinely, he was one I was looking at.
But again, what did you expect? If Fraser's 7.5, Brooks has to be 6.5, doesn't he? He can't be 6.
That just shows you the strength of that attacking unit at Bournemouth, in my opinion. I mean, they've all got pretty serious price hikes there. David Brooks, I can't remember his price last season, but he was bargain based, wasn't it? 5.5 or something like that.
So was Fraser.
Yeah, I know. So Stanislas at 6 is interesting if he could actually stay fit, but he just can't. Out of those, Josh King looks the interesting one for me at 6.5. I think Josh King interests me at 6.5. In the defence, I don't think I trust much in Bournemouth's defence full stop. But if you look at their fixtures, Sheffield United at home, Villa away, then it's the City game at home, but then it's Leicester away, Everton at home. A couple of tricky away games there, but the fixture's not too bad for Bournemouth to start the season. I think out of those, I would be tempted to I might put Josh King in my team for now. Stick him in there and
You've got
see what happens.
less chance of being trolled as well if you go with Josh King over Callum Wilson.
That is true. Yeah, absolutely true. Josh Oram, what about Brooks? I'm disappointed by his price, Josh, to be honest with you.
I actually think that if you're going to go Brooks, you might as well go Fraser. It's only $1 million more. If we're saying that with Salah, the $1 million up from Mane is worth it, I think on a lower scale, the same applies with Fraser and Brooks.
Yeah, okay. All right. Don't fancy Dom Solanke either.
But Brooks can't be anything less because of where Fraser's priced and because of where Josh King is priced.
It's interesting.
Has to be there.
I'm a bit. Yeah, Fraser. I think at 7.5. You know that's a significant. He is significantly, easily the top midfielder for Bournemouth. And when I saw his price leaked yesterday, I was okay with that. I think 7.5 is. I'm okay with that, right? Might even think about putting him in. But Brooks. 6.5, yeah, it's a shame really. It's a shame, but it is what it is. Oh God, I keep saying that now. It's because of watching you and Love Island every night. Let's move on from Bournemouth. Only really one there that I'm thinking of in Josh King.
You're not going to go Fraser?
Let's see what. Let's have a look. Let's keep looking at teams first. He's in my thinking. A super chat from Crackerjack. Crackerjack, thank you for the super chat. Very kind. What formation are you thinking? No idea at the moment, mate. No idea.
Could be anything.
The one thing I will say is that given what we saw last season and the funding, a lot of it being funneled to the back of the team with defenders, I feel like a 4 at the back. For the first time in a long time in FPL, it seems like a viable thing to start the season with. I've been playing FPL for 10, maybe longer years, so have you. And my general feeling about formations is always, 3 at the back with 2 cheapy rotating defenders. I don't feel like that's my strategy. No. I don't feel like that's what I want to do this season. I feel like 4 defenders is a nice thing to have. If anything, the cheapie might be up front, might be that third forward slot takes the hit. I don't know. I have to see more prices.
For me, the way my team is looking at the moment, it looks like I'm going 4-4-2 this year.
Okay. A lot of you guys in the live chat. Oh, England 2-0. Come on, the Lionesses. Very, very good. 2-0 England. Excellent, excellent work.
Shouldn't we?
We should do, but we'd get too distracted. Let's have a look at Chelsea then. A few of you in the live chat saying some real bargains at Chelsea. That's where some of the gems could be.
I think so. Interesting.
I've noticed that actually 7 million is the most you will pay for a Chelsea player in FPL right now. When was the last time you could say that? No, the most expensive player. And who is that?
Giroud?
No, Pedro and Willian is 7. Oh, Giroud 7 as well. Giroud 7. Pedro 7 and Willian 7. Okay, I'm sort of interested. Maybe in Willian, but Giroud 7. I'm interested in that.
So when I was looking at this earlier, my immediate look was for what's happening with Callum Hudson-Odoi, what's happening with Loftus-Cheek, because that
both injured though, right?
Both injured currently. But my looking was where have they priced them? Because for me, when those guys are fit, if Chelsea, I'm expecting those two to play. I kind of think they have to when they're fit because now that Hazard isn't there needs to be those kind of players in the midfield. Oh, drop me pen. Particularly with Hazard and with kind of Giroud now by himself really as the only viable option up top. So those two were really interesting for me, and they've actually they've priced them really nicely. Those two are the two that if they're fit and if they get fit for an early-ish part of the season, they're ones that I'm looking at. Obviously, they're not going to be in my team at the start of the season because injuries aren't going to allow that, probably.
There's a couple of players missing as well. You guys in the live chat quite rightly saying, where's Pulisic? Crackerjack is saying, Amwanit. Amwanit, hey, good evening, how you doing?
Amwanit.
He's saying Pulisic price will be interesting. I'm willing to bet...
I've not finished the game yet, have they, though?
I'm willing to bet he comes in, when they add him to the game, that he's in around the 7 as well, I would expect. Tammy Abraham, as you guys are saying, very interested to see his price. If
is he not still listed with?
I don't think so. No, I think the guys are saying, "Where's Tammy Abraham?"
Is he not with Villa?
No, I don't think so. He's a Chelsea player, right?
Yeah, I thought his loan deal was still on though at the moment.
Let's check, but I didn't
check for Tammy Abraham, to be fair.
No. Okay, so Tammy Abraham not in the game yet, so one that we'll keep an eye out for. For me, I think there's so much uncertainty at Chelsea right now in terms of who's getting the job. We think it's going to be Frank Lampard at the time of recording this video. He's being heavily linked, but he's not yet confirmed. Looks as if it's going to be Frank Lampard. If it is, then, with the ban that they've got on transfers, he has no real choice but to invest in youth. He has to really go down that road. But you can't tell me that the young players that are going to come in are going to make Chelsea a better team than they were last year. Yes, these are very promising players, but they are on loan for a reason, right? Loftus-Cheek was loaned to Palace a couple of seasons ago for a reason. Hudson-Odoi has not got a game in that team for a reason. Batshuayi has gone on loan for a reason. Tammy Abraham on loan for a reason. All these players are going to come back. Do you think that these players are necessarily going to improve Chelsea as a team very quickly before we move on?
Honestly, I don't know. No, I don't think they will straight away. However, what I will say is that I think if Frank gets the job, I do think he is the sort of manager that will and can improve those young players. Those young players...
Over time. I'm thinking, we're talking about game week 1 FPL drafts. I don't think you go with any Chelsea, do you?
No, but I don't think that any Chelsea fan, Tips is in, I'm sure there's others, I don't think any Chelsea fan is going into this season expecting Callum Hudson-Odoi and Loftus-Cheek, Batshuayi if he comes back, and Abraham if he comes back, to be lifting the Premier League trophy this season. I'm expecting it's going to be a development season, isn't it? That's the point. If you get a new manager and you're going to have to embed these youngsters. So from an FPL point of view, I think what we see with Chelsea is that there isn't anyone you necessarily get straight away, apart from maybe one of the defenders. But you watch them really closely because those young kids are priced really nicely, so you can get them in fairly easily if and when.
That's what I'd want to do. I'd want to wait and see which of these youngsters takes to the first team, and then act.
If not two, are going to be big players for Chelsea over the course of this season because one of them's got to stand out. Probably a couple.
Okay, let's move on from Chelsea. Let's have a look at your boys then at Spurs. We've spoken about Kane at 11 already. That is a really, really tempting price. There's no doubt about that.
Tasty.
Let's see where else you're at.
I like the fact they put Janssen in the game.
I did see the Son price 9.5. I think a fair price for Son.
Yeah,
I think
but
a fair
you can't have him
price.
in your first draft because he's
Suspended
banned from the first 2 games.
Yeah, suspended. I think you're right about that. Ali 8.5 could be a nice price depending on if he shows a bit of form. I mean, there's nobody in there that I'm really thinking I must buy. Lucas Moura even at 7.5. I think these are all fair prices. And if you look at the back as well, I've noticed a lot of the defenders have taken a 0.5 hit.
They were all 6 last season.
Yeah, and they've done the same again. They've always priced the Spurs defence exactly the same throughout, more or less. And last season they were all 6. Now they're all 5.5. Briefly, because we're already at 50 minutes of this live stream, would you believe? Thoughts on the Spurs team outside of Kane? Well, give me your thoughts on Kane as well in the wider context of the Spurs prices.
I thought Kane was a really lovely price.
I think he is too. I really do.
And as I said, I think in the video that we did, hello, what's happened there?
How much budget have I got left? 38 mil. It's not looking good already.
No, it's looking very bad for you. I think, as I said in the video that we shot, for me, I wasn't going to have Kane. I said I wasn't going to go any Spurs at the start of the season. But that price, even with that fixture against City in the middle of our opening games, even with that, and even with Jorgos cursed, that price is enough for me to put him in my team.
As Dini would say, if you've got the... What price is Dini?
6.5.
Nah. If you've got the cojones to go Kane captain home to Villa game week 1 when the world is going for Salah at Norwich.
I
am. Wow.
Always.
Wow.
Captain.
I got this real...
Kane.
I got this real sense... You're so excited about Kane.
I'm so excited about the Kane price. I can't tell you.
This real feeling of FPL family deja vu with Salah captain and Kane captain. It's just this last season all over again. It's just going to be exactly the flipping same.
I'm so excited.
Mark O'Leary is saying clean sheet Villa.
I'll be quiet. Clean sheet Villa.
Neil Craston is saying Spurs centre backs may be a good price how do you say this guy? Dombele or Ndombele? How do you say it? Dombele. With Dombele coming in at CDM, it will help shore up the defence. Nice point,
Agreed.
Neil. I like that. What do you think of that?
Agreed. Totally agreed. I am so excited about this guy coming. I literally cannot wait to see him in a Spurs shirt. He will be the Dembele that we lost because of all of his injury problems.
But younger and fitter.
Fitter.
Just broken through into the French side, hasn't he? Couple of caps.
Heat maps and radar graphs look properly what we need. Somebody in that mid to play alongside Sissoko and have a really strong central midfield because that will protect the defence. Those defenders, if Toby's still with us, please God let Toby still be with us. Those central defenders are quality. They're absolute quality. And I think those Spurs wing-backs, as we've seen, I don't know what's going to happen with Trippier, but particularly with Danny Rose, they're a lovely price. They are a lovely price.
But interestingly, both of those guys have been linked with moves away from Spurs, Trippier and Rose.
Well,
but Trippier, devil's advocate for 2 seconds, say both those guys go, suddenly Serge Aurier, 5 million, becomes a very, very nice option.
I think Trippier will go. And so I think Serge Aurier is a good option.
Okay.
I don't think Danny Rose will go. I think Danny Rose likes to spout nonsense and then never goes anywhere
anyway. Got a bit of history for talking and not doing much, isn't he?
Yeah, I think Danny Rose will stay. I don't see him going. I think the Spurs defenders are really good, and what I'm trying to work out whether I have one of them or whether I just go Lloris as my set and forget keeper.
All right, well, loads more to talk about. Let's crack on through these teams, and we've got not a lot of time to talk about many of these guys. Where do you want to go next? Everton. I want to talk about Everton because Everton, if you look at their fixtures for the beginning of the season, Palace, Watford, Villa, Wolves, Bournemouth. Those are the first 5 guys, and actually, if you extend the ticker past game week 5, they've got something like one hard game in the first 12. I mean, the start of their season is absolutely unreal. I have not seen Richarlison's price, and you're going to get a live reaction now. 8 mil, yeah, it's about right, isn't it?
Same as Siggy, has to be.
It's about right. Sigurdsson 8, Richarlison
Make your
8.
pick. Got to choose.
You've got to choose one, haven't you? I'm going to have one of those guys. Calvert-Lewin 6. Interesting.
He's the interesting one for me because he's going to play, isn't he? Look at that. Look, he's not going to play Toussaint, is he? He's going to play Calvert-Lewin. So Calvert-Lewin for me at 6, he's that third striker option that you need.
He is very interesting, guys, at 6. I mean, with their fixtures, there's maybe even a chance of a double up there with Siggy or Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin. I mean, we've seen Richarlison beginning of last season and the season before that at Watford. He starts like a house on fire.
He does. And
he's amazing.
Tired.
And then it gets to Christmas and he dies. So we know that now. So surely we'll get him in for this amazing run of fixtures they got at the beginning of the season. As soon as the fixtures start to turn, it'll be about Christmas. You bin him off.
What?
Surely that's the Richarlison tactic,
Yeah,
right?
probably. But I really like the look of Calvert-Lewin. For me, that is such a nice price for him.
I like that as well.
It's a bit of a gift, I think. As a third striker, he's a bit of a gift in a 6.
Okay, very good. And as you guys are saying in the live chat, let's have a look. Martin Boyle, thank you for joining, Martin. Siggy, number 10, on set pieces, on pens. That's the thing that swings it for me. That's a really nice point.
And that's why you go Siggy over Richarlison.
I think you've hit the nail on the head. That is what swings it for me. It's the Siggy penalties.
But I think the one that
he goes in.
The one that I was immediately looking at when I looked at Everton, strangely, was not any of those. It was Digne, because I was like,
Digne, what's he? 6.
6.
Yeah,
and the problem is that you look at the defenders from last season that we're all interested in. So we've already covered the Liverpool ones. We've covered off City. They're the big ones. But then even when you look at Matt Doherty, 6 million. So you're suddenly...
Is Doherty 6?
Yeah. So you're really struggling because Digne, I think you have to have because the fixtures are nice and he is the one to have it. But even like Pereira at Leicester, 6. So suddenly...
Yeah, I saw that league. That's too much for him, isn't it?
Yeah, but you find yourself in a difficult position where basically those are your 3... and then you've got to try and find another one to fit in there as well. But I think Digne is kind of bordering on, and I hate to say it because it's pre-season and the game's only open today, but I think Digne is going to border on essential for those early games because they're so nice.
6 mil looks very, very good. However, you can have Coleman.
Yeah, you can.
For $500,000 less, should you really need those. But I think, as you guys are saying, again, quite rightly in the live chat, the set pieces and the extra upside that you get for the 0.5 more on Digne looks absolutely worth it. Higgs Boson, good evening, welcome Higgs. He's saying Digne and Calvert-Lewin look like the ones to have. Yes, I agree. I agree. Tom FLJM is saying Richarlison up front. That's something to look out for in pre-season. And we're all sitting here saying, well, Calvert-Lewin, yes, a nice third striker, and I think he is at 6. That's a nice price for him. If he's their first choice striker. There's a chance that he puts Richarlison up there again.
There is, but I think we learnt last season that Richarlison is better in a midfield position. He played better when he was in midfield than he did when he was up top.
Okay.
But let's see.
Carry256, a regular from last year. Carry, welcome back to FPL Family. He's saying Lee's got 5 mil to spend on his remaining 5 players. I bloody hope I haven't. 24, thank you very much, Carry. But yes, he's right. I'm picking just expensive players at the moment. I do at some stage.
So basically means you've got 5 million for 4 of them and 4 million for the other one.
I need some bargains. Let's quickly have a look at
Man United. You'll get some bargains.
Not going to get any bargains here.
I don't think.
Quite
a few. Really? There's only Pogba that's the most expensive player in their team at 8.5.
Their most expensive, United's most expensive player, 8.5.
Sanchez, the biggest price cut of the season.
What's Rashford?
From last.
Oh, Rashford's 8.5 as well. Lukaku 8.5.
They're having a joke with Lukaku.
How the mighty fall.
But so how Sanchez 7.
7?
Yeah.
Sanchez 7?
I mean, but he's actually playing alright in the Copa America at the moment.
Oh, you're not going to get Sanchez though, are you? You're not going to get Alexis Sanchez based on what he's been doing. 10.7 team selected by. People are going crazy for Alexis Sanchez.
He's cheap and he's playing well in the Copa America.
7 million.
He's cheap in comparison to last season. What was he last season? 10 or something?
I'll tell you what, and when it has hit the nail on the head there, Sanchez at 7 million could be a game changer. I want you to put in bold and then underline and in italics the word could. I mean,
or he could get sold.
He could be absolute guff and just take up 7 million in your team, or he could be the player to own if he can find some form. But I just don't see it.
The thing is with Sanchez, I think he's a wait and see because for me there are other players.
Yeah, you don't get him in, I don't think.
There's other players because I really looked at him. There are other players in that 7 million price point: Felipe Anderson, Maddison, Miljokovic, Zaha.
Josh is saying Sanchez was 13 million last season. I think that was 2 seasons ago. But yeah, he was double figures, no doubt about it. 7.
But the other 7 players, like I was saying, Felipe Anderson, Maddison, Miljokovic, Zaha, all of those players, showed a lot more form than Sanchez did last season. So you start with one of them, knowing you can switch easily to Sanchez as and when
I like that.
the man performs.
I like that strategy. Rashford at 8.5, I really like the look of, but I'm not sure I'm going to have enough.
Too much?
Not sure I'm going to have enough budget. Let's have a look at the United fixtures. Chelsea, Wolves, Palace, Southampton, Leicester. Given what's going on at that club, I want to wait and see on United. I don't think I'm bringing anybody in.
The player that I am looking at, which kind of fits in with what we're just saying about United, is Aaron Wan-Bissaka. So maybe we'll go to Palace next.
Yes, what price Aaron Wan-Bissaka?
Aaron Wan-Bissaka's in at 5.5, so a big jump from last season.
Yeah.
But Aaron Wan-Bissaka at 5.5 playing for Man United? Yeah, maybe.
Do we expect United to keep loads of clean sheets though? I mean, I'm
expecting United to be better.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Anyway, Wan-Bissaka 5.5. It is what it is again.
It's about right.
It's about right for him. He's got really nice stats, etc.
And if he stays at Palace, then he's the same price as PVA, which is right. He should be the same price as PVA.
Yeah, interesting one. I don't think I'll be going Wan-Biscuits, unfortunately, because I loved having him in my team last year. But I do want to have a look at these two. Millie and Zaha, both at 7 million. Miljovic obviously with the penalty factor.
Yep.
Zaha with the I want to win a penalty factor. A bit of uncertainty as to where Zaha might end up. Give me your thoughts on Zaha, 7 million as a midfielder in FPL at Palace.
Yes.
But also at Arsenal.
No.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so go on then. Tell me your thinking behind that.
If he's at Palace, I want him. If he's at Arsenal, I don't.
Really?
I don't trust the rest of the Arsenal team. That's the problem.
They're good going forward though, Arsenal, right?
Well, if Ozil's doing anything, or if he's just standing around, no.
Well, yeah.
So yes, they are good going forward, but then wouldn't you rather have... I'd rather have Lacazette or Aubameyang.
Interesting. I think Zaha at 7 million. I'm tempted to stick him in at least temporarily. I appreciate I'm going to go over the budget.
Well over budget now.
That's for sure. But Zaha at either club actually, I think he's worth 7 million. Given that he's back in midfield, he was a 7 million forward to start the game last year. So his classification back to a midfielder makes him absolutely option. Outside of that, Van Aanholt potentially. The Palace fixtures for the start of the season: Everton at home, Sheffield United, Manchester United away, and then Villa at home and Spurs. So it's a mixed bag to say the least for Palace. So I don't think I'm going to be gambling on any of their defenders any minute soon. But Zaha, he will get fouled in the penalty area plenty with that lot. And if he goes to Arsenal, I think the only way he's going to go to Arsenal is the only way that Arsenal are going to fund him, because they want something like 80 million for him.
They've got to sell Ozil then, haven't they?
Well, I don't think they'd get a lot of money for Ozil as a reality, but they've probably got to sell Aubameyang or Lacazette, possibly, to fund a move for Zaha. I'm just saying, Arsenal came out at the beginning of the summer and said we've got a £45 million summer transfer budget. Yeah, but Zaha's double that.
Yeah, because Aubameyang potentially was linked with China, wasn't he?
So if Aubameyang goes and they get the money to pay for Zaha, I actually think that makes Arsenal a far more rounded side, because one of the key conundrums
that makes Lacazette a real...
one of the key conundrums we had last season as an FPL manager, as did Unai Emery, is how do you fit Lacazette and Aubameyang? They both want to play as centre forward. So if he can, ship off Aubameyang and actually put Zaha in that side. Well, listen, I'm just saying, if they want Zaha, which they're being linked with, they're going to have to fund him somehow, and it means selling another key asset, and that could be Aubameyang. That's at time of recording, that's what's going on Twitter.
Whoa.
But do you not think Arsenal's system with Lacazette up top, Zaha wide, and a replacement on the left?
Just get rid of Ozil and free up about £100,000 million a year.
Stop talking about Ozil. Ozil is done as a player. Forget about him.
But his wage bill is huge. That's what I'm saying.
I know, but it's not about wages. It's about they need some transfer kitty. How much is anybody going to pay for Ozil right now? Nobody's going to pay anything, are they? Let's have a quick look throughout the rest. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at all players, and I'm going to look by position. So let's have a look at the defenders.
There were just while you're doing this, there were 10 position changes for this season. So we've already talked about Zaha, striker to midfielder, Jota, midfielder to striker this season, playing up top with
midfielder to striker. Jota, let's have a look at Wolves then.
So obviously that means you've got to choose between Jimenez and Jota. Jota is a whole million cheaper. At 6.5 than Jimenez.
Do you think Jimenez is worth the extra million?
Not with the start to the season that they have in the Europa League. I think we need to wait and see what happens with Jimenez, which pains me because I love that man. But I
think that's still a really nice price for Jimenez.
But I do think that with the Europa League stuff for them at the beginning of the season, we need to see if they do a Burnley or whether they can cope with both competitions.
They have got, I think it's well documented, they have got a very, very good first 11 Wolves. The squad depth is the thing that I think potentially might be their undoing. Like you say, as per Burnley, beginning of last season. And given that they are not, these are not players you can punt on now, right? You can't punt on Doherty for 6,
you can't,
right?
You can
have Digne for 6.
You can't spend 6 million on Doherty.
You can't even really punt on Johnny at 5.5. There's no.
Bolly maybe at 5 is the only one.
I don't think there's anyone in that midfield that I'd want to have a look at. Yes, I would like one of those 2 forwards, but not sure. It's Jimenez at 7. That's a really nice price. I'm really tempted by that. But I just think with Europa,
we have to wait and see
with
how
the starts
that
of the season, Leicester away to start with, then Man United at home. There's a nice game at home to Burnley, but then Everton, Chelsea. It's tough to get behind a Wolves asset, isn't it? It's tough to get behind a Wolves asset.
Yeah, we might get a few price drops as well if we're lucky.
Go on then. Any other players catching your eye?
So the other ones that changed, Deulofeu, midfielder to striker for this season.
Yeah, that dents his appeal in my opinion.
Yeah, Perez, striker to midfielder. Depends what happens at Newcastle, doesn't it? Same with Matt Ritchie, with midfielder to defender. I think we have to just wait and see what happens with the new manager who's in charge.
Give me a real quick thoughts on Newcastle.
No, you can't go Newcastle until you know what's happening with the manager situation.
I think they are doomed to failure, Newcastle, this season. I'm sorry to say it because I love Newcastle. I think the fans are fantastic. I've been to St James's Park. The atmosphere was amazing when I went. I just think Benitez was getting so much out of some very average players, and I think. I don't know, makes me very, very nervous to pick anybody from Newcastle. And I like Almiron, right? I like the look of Almiron. He's played nicely in the summer as well from the internationals that I've seen. Perez, of course, is an option. I don't know, I just can't get behind Newcastle. And their start to the season is very, very difficult. Whoever comes in has got baptism of fire. Yeah,
the last price changes, last position changes, Zinchenko, midfielder to defender with City.
Okay, if he can nail down that left-back berth, he's worth a look.
Yeah, so I read a stat that said he's only started 22 games for City or something in the Premier League and he's won them all. So it's interesting.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Maitland-Niles, midfielder to defender.
Yeah.
Masuaku, midfielder to defender.
Yeah.
Schlopp, defender to midfielder. Interesting.
Yeah.
Declan Rice, defender to midfielder. Also interesting.
Well, all of those make sense.
But make them a bit more interesting in terms of the game, I think.
Felipe Anderson, 7 million?
Yeah, maybe. Bit too much for mine.
Bit maybe, yeah. So... Leicester we haven't really looked at. Madison at 7 million looks nice. That could be okay.
Yeah, so
have a quick look at Leicester.
Leicester, there's some interesting picks in there. Pereira is too expensive at 6. He's just too much. You can't go to that.
Do you think? I did see a stat that said he was the second most creative defender between January and May. So in the calendar year of 2019, second most creative after Trent, right?
But that's where the City defenders are. That's where the Liverpool defenders are.
Digne.
That's where Digne is with the nice start to the season.
Yeah.
For me, how you can't put Leicester with the start to the season that they have, you can't put Leicester in that same price point for a defender.
Now, so I've seen a lot of rhetoric on this in terms of Leicester's start to the season, and you're right to point out.
Defender.
I get it. But Wolves at home, okay. Chelsea away.
Defender.
Yeah, but we are in unprecedented FPL times here, Sam. We have got Leicester players that are priced higher than Chelsea players. That is the world we're in now.
And I'm not saying that that's... By the way, I think that's right. However, what I'm saying is, I think that you can have a premium Liverpool or City defender with much nicer fixtures for defenders and clean sheets. I'm not saying I wouldn't have any Leicester. Okay. I am going to have Leicester, but I don't have the defence. The thing
that's going to swing it for me, and despite his 6 million price tag, Pereira is on my radar. The thing that's going to swing it for me, if Maguire leaves, it's difficult, isn't it? That is a cornerstone of their defence going.
Now, having said I'm not looking at defenders, I did look at Maguire because I don't think he's going to be there. So if Maguire's going to City, that's a nice cheap option.
Then maybe. Vardy, 9 million, so I think that's more or less where he was last season.
Yeah,
he's just steady Eddie, isn't he? He's going to tick you over the points nicely and on penalties. Vardy at 9 million, what are you saying?
Yeah, I'd really like him, but I haven't got 200 million in my budget.
That's the thing, isn't it? That's the thing. Where else are we looking at? Harvey Barnes was one I wanted to look at. 6 for Harvey Barnes. Could be good.
Yeah.
Could be good, Harvey Barnes.
I think
one for the watch list,
yeah,
absolutely.
For sure.
Okay.
And JWP's in at 6 as well, and I think he could be one to watch with Southampton.
All right, quick look at Southampton then. Goodness me, we're going to go team by team here. Valerie gets a nice price hike there, up to 5, absolutely. Good old Jan Bednarak still in at 4.5. He did a fair amount to nail down that spot, didn't he? At centre-half, Bednarak.
I think he pretty much has to be in everybody's team, doesn't he?
I think so.
Because he's so cheap.
Redmond, 6.5. What are you saying about Redmond at 6.5?
I'd rather have Calvert-Lewin at 6.
Would you?
Yeah.
Redmond at 6.5 is nice, guys.
Well,
guys,
to be fair, Calvert-Lewin is a striker.
Get in the live chat. What are you saying about that? Redmond at 6.5.
So the other 6.5s in the game in midfield. Oh, actually, only wrote down 2. Lanzini and Loftus-Cheek. You've got Barkley at 6, Almiron at 6, Harvey Barnes at 6, Hudson-Odoi at 6, and then JWP at 6. Do you think Redmond is worth a little bit more than JWP?
I do, because I think he was playing very far forward, off of the front man often as well. And I think he looked their most threatening player at the back end of last season. That's a really nice price.
Oh, go on then, put him in your team.
I haven't got space, Sam. I just haven't got space for somebody like Redmond. But
I love the fact that you're going to put all these players in, and then while I'm watching Love Island, you're going to be trying to fix this mess.
I'm going Bednarek.
How much you got left?
6 mil for a defender and a forward. It's not happening, is it?
No.
It's not happening. Where else do we need to look?
Where haven't we been?
I need bargains, Sam. Where am I going?
Go to the newly promoted clubs.
The newly promoted clubs. Who am I getting from Norwich? Come on. Timo Pukki, 6.5. Can't afford him.
No. Who else did I write?
Any Buendia, 6 million. Can't afford him. Vranic, their new signing, in the game at 6.5. So they're making you pick. If you want to go for a Norwich forward or a Norwich attacker, they're making you pick between Vranic and Pukki, which is kind of interesting. So for me, that's a wait and see. Crackerjack is in Max Aarons. Yes, nice. Like that pick. Max Aarons. He looks good in there. I like the look of Aarons, particularly if he goes to Spurs as being touted.
Hey?
Yeah, well, you and a few other...
We seem to be signing everybody.
You and a few other clubs in for Max Aarons. Are there any 4.0 defensive fodders in the game?
Not that I could see when I looked earlier. I really looked.
Not that you can see. I've got 1.5 for a forward. Who can I get?
Me.
Sam from FPLFamily in at 1.5. So listen, guys, plenty.
I reckon if I was in the game at 1.5, I'd be in 100% of teams.
Plenty to discuss. Norwich, Villa. What was Grealish? Grealish was one of the elite ones, wasn't he?
Too expensive.
Yeah, probably by 0.5. If he was 5.5, I'd go there.
He's got that because of his name, not because I think he deserved to be 6.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. It's a bit of a shame actually, because 5 or 5.5, I think I'd go there.
There isn't. Yeah. I mean, I really struggle with looking for those kind of 5.5 players that were going to bulk out my midfield, because if I want to go 4-4-2,
the guys are saying, Michael Leary, is Kelly going to play at right back if Wan-Bissaka goes?
He's the one.
So that's a nice.
He's the one because he's cheap. He is cheap.
I like that. Where is he?
He's
he's
the one.
a 4.
Yeah. So he's the one.
See you later, Bednarek.
If Wan-Bissaka leaves,
Kelly could come in.
Kelly could be the one.
Okay.
And because Kelly was the one that played when Wan-Bissaka was out last season, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So Kelly could be the one. But what I'm sort of hoping is, oh God, it sounds terrible to say this, but if Wan-Bissaka goes, can he go late? So they haven't got time to sign anyone else, because then we've just got Kelly.
All right, well, let's have a look at what else we've got here. So, Ender Stevens, 5 million. Nice one on the radar for sure. Billy Sharp, 6 million. That's a nice price for Billy Sharp.
Had some really nice statistics as well. Again, it puts him in competition with the likes of Calvert-Lewin. But I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing.
No, absolutely. Okay. Well, look, I need to work on my team, guys, but I would say there it is, but that's not it, because I've only got 2 million left for a forward. I got the feeling somebody like Kane might be making way here, and I haven't got Sterling either. I was absolutely dead set that I was going to go for Sterling, but
you're in the same position that I'm in, and I needed 3.5 more.
Yeah,
just 3.5. I wasn't really being greedy.
3.5.
I wasn't being greedy. Like normally, I'd come in and go,
3.5.
I need 25 million more. No, this year I needed 3. 3.5 would be nice, but I'd have taken 3.
So there we go, guys. Loads. This is
so
just.
Can they give it me if I ask?
It's just the start, Sam. This is just the start of FPL this season. This is day 1. I have failed to put a draft together, but what I will do before the night is out, while you're watching Love Island, I will get a draft together that works. I will get a draft together that works, and I'll post it on Twitter.
Dumped?
No one cares about who's getting dumped. What people
who's
care about
get dumped from your fantasy team?
Is who's getting dumped from my FPL team right now. I have no idea, but I'm going to attempt to put a draft together, and I will post it.
TAA is going to Van Dijk at this rate. That'll save you 0.5.
No, Trent was
Salah down to Mane. That save you another 1.
No, absolutely
that
not.
means you've got how much you got in the bank?
Absolutely
2.5.
Sam, I would love to sit here all evening and talk about this.
I've got to make some dinner as well.
We've got to have something to eat. You've got to watch Love Island. And we've got to let the guys get on with their evening. Guys, thank you for joining us. This is just the first of many, many live streams this season from FPL Family. We will, of course, be doing more between now and the kickoff of the season, right? So I guess give it a couple of weeks and we'll do another one. Let's see how our drafts have evolved. Let's see who the big movers and shakers are in the transfer market. And let's see who Frank Lampard brings in at Chelsea.
And of course, well, nobody, because he can't sign anybody.
That's very true. Very true.
Also, we'll need to do our predictions for the season. So get your thinking caps on, everybody.
We will also need to do predictions. I thought that worked really nicely last season with some of the predictions. So we'll be doing that and putting it in envelopes again before the start of the season. We will want you guys, we want the fantasy FPL family community to do some predictions as well. We'll do our top 4 predictions,
to pack them
bottom
away
3,
again, so I know where they are.
Golden Boot predictions, and we'll want the community to do theirs as well.
You going to relegate Watford again?
I'm not going to relegate Watford again. No, I don't think.
Sounds like you might be relegating Newcastle this year.
I'm pretty sure Newcastle are going to go. So there we go, guys. That's it. That's our first stream done and dusted in the bag for this season. Very, very good to be back. Thank you to all of you guys that were with us all of last season for coming back, and all the live stream regulars. Thank you so much. And to Crackerjack and to all the new guys that are in.
I'm just Superchatters.
And just starting out on your FPL family journey with us this season. You're very, very welcome. Make sure you hit that subscribe button before you go if you're new.
Don't forget, the Slack is still free at the moment because it's pre-season.
Yeah, if you want to check out the Patreon, go check us out.
It's crazy today.
The links are in the description below, patreon.com/FPL family. If you want to head over to there, you've probably got a few days left, to check it out before you get into the next month. When it starts going again, right?
Yeah. July? No.
Yeah, well, what will happen is you'll get charged at the end of the month, at the end of July. Yes. For July. So if you've joined in July, you'll get charged at the end of July. So if you want to try it out for a bit, go head over to patreon.com/FPL family and check us out over there. All that's left to say is thank you very much for joining us. Head over to Twitter @FPL family, Instagram @FPL family as well. Facebook.
I Facebook today.
You did a Facebook. Excellent.
Yeah,
Search FPL family on Facebook. We're over there as well. Hit like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and we will see you very, very soon. Thank you for joining, guys.
Green areas, everyone.